All right, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Happy MLK Day. Welcome to another electric edition of Tag Live 205 on Millions. As always, I am your host, Tyler A. Gates, coming to you live weekday and week in out live on millions.co, YouTube, and Spotify. If you have not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, tap in, and follow the show across all social media platforms. And for more of your boy Tyler A, stay locked in with me on Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, and stay tuned for more because you don't want to miss it. Now, we have a star-studded show for you today. A star-studded show for you today. And I can't wait to get into it, especially one part. But I will tell you this. There is one part of this show that is not really going to catch the eye of many because it's an off-topic sport. But the interest level in it will have you shaking in your boots. First, I'm going to get started with the AFC and the NFC championship games. Like I said, if you have not already, make sure to subscribe to the Tag Live 205 talk show on YouTube, not only on Millions as well, but YouTube as well to keep up with all of the sports that I cover. The AFC and the NFC championship games, I watched them both last night, the divisional rounds rather. Now the championship games next weekend. We have Rams, Seahawks, the trilogy, and then we're going to have the Patriots and the Broncos. If you can see it on my screen, this is my bracket right here. My bracket shows pretty much everything that I've predicted so far, but this is the bracket as the order goes right now. Seahawks, Rams, Broncos, Patriots. Who is going to be the lasting impression? Who's going to set that lasting impression? Who is going to have the will, the grit, the determination to win their game and advance to the Super Bowl? I don't know. You know, they're saying now it's a new trend that 2026 is the new 2016. Well, if that's the case, we saw the Patriots and the Broncos in 2015, 2016. A lot of people didn't really want to see it again, but I love it. Yes, Bo Nix is out for the rest of the season with a broken ankle. That kind of takes the Broncos out of the Super Bowl equation entirely if you look at it from different people's perspective. But you cannot count out Sean Payton. You never can count out Sean Payton for what he has done, not only for the New Orleans Saints, but what he has done for the game of football. Sean Payton, to me, is one of the most interesting coaches of all time. Sean Payton has a track record that many don't have. And to see how Sean Payton came from a nothing team, having nothing but just Drew Brees and Jonathan Velma and a young Marcus Colston, elevating them to the Super Bowl with that team, Tracy Porter running it back for the pick six against Peyton Manning all those years ago. And then to see how that team kind of rebuilt itself after that Super Bowl, kind of building around Drew Brees, similar to a Bo Nix, who ironically Sean Payton said reminds him a lot of his quarterback now in Bo Nix. But Bo Nix is injured. Jarrett Stidham, it is your time. Jarrett Stidham is the modern day backup quarterback. Doesn't talk much, no media presence, but he will give you what you want. And what I mean by give you what you want is he will sit there and break down a play to you like it's nothing. He will sit there and dissect his teammates in a good way to you. He will brag on his teammates. But the one thing that Jarrett Stidham has to do is he has to be careful with the words that he sometimes says because they can rub off on people a certain way. ESPN analyst Ryan Clark and Mina Khan, shout out to them both, kind of broke this down last week about Jarrett Stidham, but also Bo Nix and how their quarterback room is not perfect besides Bo Nix. You have to trust your backups. Nick Foles and the Eagles is a great example. Yes, he put out a tweet last night, basically summing up saying backup quarterbacks know how to win in the big games. I mean, Nick Foles beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I mean, come on, guys. He beat him in the Super Bowl. But I really want to get into, in terms of key notes, I want to get into a Jackson Smith and Jigba. I want to get into the Seahawks and the Rams first before I break down the Broncos. This secondary of the Rams last night played terrific. Caleb Williams and that Bears team, kudos to them. They had a great season. Yes, it did not end the way that they wanted to, but they will be back next year. I have no doubt about that. But this Rams secondary with a Kobe Durant, with a Quentin Lake, you can't stop that secondary at the moment. But they're going to a place that they are very familiar with, which you cannot stop their defense. Yes, they're not the Legion of Boom. I mean, you could say Legion of Boom 2.0, but they're nowhere near Legion of Boom yet. I don't know what nickname we're going to give this Seahawks defense, this era at least, but we understand that when you look at the Seahawks versus the Rams and this possible trilogy coming up, this potential trilogy coming up, what is the one thing that they keep saying about this rivalry? Defense, defense, defense. That's why I pointed to Kobe Durant, Quentin Lake, Jared Verse, Brandon Fisk. That's why I pointed to that, because the Rams defense is tremendous. Yes, people thought their defense fell off when they traded Ramsey. It only got better. It only got better. Jarrett Stidham and Drake May are going to have some nervous jitters. Both of them. Now we're moving on to the Broncos. Because I know people want to hear me talk about them. Jarrett Stidham is going to have nervousness. He's never played in this big of a game in his life, even when he was at Auburn. And Drake May, for this to be his first AFC title game, and he is in his second season, both Caleb Williams and Drake May, to me, are going to have tremendous impacts on the NFL. Tremendous impact on the NFL going forward. But the third topic, all four defenses will have their hands entirely full with the different offenses that will be thrown at them. I'm going to repeat that again. All four defenses will have their hands totally full with the defenses being thrown at them. Can LA, this is my question for the day, can the Los Angeles Rams do it again on the road in a more hostile environment that they're familiar with? That's the question. I'm going to repeat it again. Can LA once again go on the road, not in a much colder environment in Seattle? It may be less cold there. A little cooler in Seattle. A little more warmer. Still cold. But can they go on the road in Seattle with that hostile 12th man and beat them? That remains to be seen. And how can Denver cease the rise of a past dynasty? I believe that the Patriots will be back next season. And I'm going to go ahead and say that. I don't think the Patriots will win this game. I believe the Denver Broncos are going to go to the Super Bowl and, dare I say, win it. This is shades of 2017, 2018, Nick Foles and Jarrett Stidham. I believe this is shades of 2017, 2018 with Jarrett Stidham and Nick Foles. I truly do. Something is telling me that. But we'll have to find that out. We'll have to find out who wants more. It's natty time, baby. It's natty time. So, Miami, Indiana, who wants it more? The game of the year is here in college football. If you are a college football fan, the national championship means more to you than the Super Bowl. If you are a college football fan, the national championship means more to you than the NBA Finals. If you're a college football fan, the national championship means more to you than watching the World Series. If you're a college football fan, this means more to you than watching the Masters at times. I mean, it's ridiculous how low the national championship viewership was over the past couple years. Yes, I understand Georgia and TCU. We knew what type of game that was going to be. But now that we have a new interest, a new air to breathe, rather, look at what these teams can bring. Here are my talking points. How is Indiana's physical style going to carry them to beat Miami tonight? I don't think it can. Miami is known for being physical and tough. Florida in general is known for being physical and tough. The state of Florida in general. Why do you think they recruit in-state a lot? Because those boys are cornbread. They're cornbread fed. Big instruction. That's what they do. That's what they eat. That's all they breed down there. That's where they're more physical. That's where they're more tough. That's why they know how to flip over huge tires. That's why they know how to push heavy cars. That's why they know how to do that stuff, because they were born into it. But Miami's speed and explosiveness on offense, it could cost them. And I know that's a theory when people say, I don't think it's going to cost them. No, it could seriously cost them, guys. It could seriously cost them the game. You cannot trust Malachi Tony to carry you to a national championship. Carson Beck has got to play the game of his life. He has to. He has to. Quarterback matchups and who has the edge in this one. I'm going to give the edge to Indiana because the point differential right now, and they're the favorites in terms of the betting. But if you look at the physicality, if you look at the heart, if you look at who wants it more, in my opinion, I'm going to go with the Miami Hurricanes. They're at home. They're in Miami. The College Football Committee did not want them to even be in the college football playoff to start off. And to top it all off, we're not even going to talk about 2003. We're not even going to talk about 2003, how they got robbed against Ohio State. There's still hard feelings from that. There's still hard feelings from when Miami went up against Nebraska and some of those play calls back in the day in the national championship. Even though they beat them, but still. The coaching chess match of Cignetti versus Mario Cristobal has something, it has a ring to it. It has a ring to it. Cristobal, Cignetti, Miami, Indiana, national championship. You look at what these coaches have meant to college football this season, and they have meant everything and more, especially when you see what Miami has done on the rise with Carson Beck as their quarterback. But what this game means historically for both programs, for Indiana, you can win your first national championship tonight in football. You have never been good in football, and this is the one opportunity you have with Heisman Mendoza, a.k.a. Fernando Mendoza, the 2025 Heisman Trophy winner and likely number one overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, for sure. But my question of the day is, can Miami win at the house? Or will Heisman Mendoza cement his one-year legacy? And I'm going to go ahead and answer that question for you guys right now because I know you guys want to know my answer. I believe the U is going to take care of business at home. It may not be in a blowout fashion. It may not even be that close of a game. I believe it may be a 2-touchdown game. Carson Beck, like I said, and I'm going to repeat it before I move on to the next topic, he needs to play the game of his life. How he played against Alabama when he was here at Georgia in that second half, I need to see that Carson Beck. I need to see the Carson Beck that played against Ole Miss last week or a couple weeks ago. I need to see the Carson Beck that came out against Notre Dame in the first game of the college football season and torched Notre Dame's defense. I need to see the Carson Beck that we recruited from high school. I need to see the Carson Beck that Carson Beck knows he can be. I hate to see the Carson Beck that was going through a lot, like he said, going through mental issues, but bear through them because he understood I need to put this team on my back. And without them as the leader of this team, we cannot win. We cannot win. CJ Stroud, my brother. Texans, Patriots, AFC Divisional. The Texans lost. It was horrible. I don't really have any words for it. The only words that I would have for this game is regroup, reset, rebirth. Regroup, reset, rebirth. The Texans are coming. The Texans are here. The Texans have really never been this good in franchise history. Remember, this organization, this great organization, was established in 2002. Remember that. David Carr was their first quarterback. Matt Schaub, I can go down the list pretty much of their quarterbacks. Matt Schaub, the most notable one. J.J. Watt, greatest player in franchise history. Andre Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, Brian Cushing. I can go on the list of great players that they have had come through their franchise. Deshaun Watson. I want to see Arian Foster. I want to see how the Texans go about this offseason. But despite the history, despite the franchise, did the Patriots expose C.J. Stroud? I don't think they exposed C.J. Stroud. But what I do think they did is they dissected his game on film, and they said, we're going to limit the throws. We're going to limit him escaping the pocket. We're going to limit C.J. Stroud to what he does best, and that is escape the pocket and throw on the run and run the football and get first downs. And that's exactly what they did. They were aggressive. Carlton Davis, that contract was worth it, Patriots, wasn't it? Contract was worth it. Contract was worth it. Carlton Davis had 2 interceptions of 5 turnovers for C.J. Stroud. Now, I'm not putting all the blame on him, but as the quarterback, as the leader, yes, you are automatically going to put blame on yourself because you don't want it to be on your team. But that shows the sign of a leader to say, hey, I let the team down today. I should have done better. And we're going to fix this, and we're going to get better, and we're going to learn from it. The same thing with Josh Allen and the Broncos and what happened to them. When that Broncos defense torched the Bills offense down the stretch, as the Bills start to come back, we're not even going to talk about the first half of the game because that I don't know what that was. But as they started to come back, you started to see a rift in the Broncos defense, in their secondary rather, with the Riley Moss. You know, Pat Surtain was dealing with something. An injury, a lingering injury. So you had to step up, Riley Moss. You were essentially thrusted into the role of DB1 with Surtain coming in and out the game. These quarterbacks nowadays, the pressure is always going to be on you. From the moment you come in, from the moment you leave, the pressure is always going to be on them. So us as fans, we have to give them some leeway because it is a lot on them. It is a lot on them. But C.J. Stroud, I don't really think he got exposed. I think C.J. Stroud just wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for what the Patriots were going to bring. He wasn't ready fully. And he didn't really know what the Patriots had for him. And when he finally figured it out, it was too late. It was too late. Stroud, the first player with 5 interceptions or 5 or more fumbles in a single postseason game. Got to fix that. Got to fix that. The question of the day, how will Houston recover from this? C.J. Stroud is the guy. He's definitely the guy. But he needs more help. Obviously, they didn't have Nico Collins. Dalton Schultz was getting injured. Obviously, Trent Howard, if you guys saw it. Titus Howard was the one that got injured in the game, lost another tight end. So they were losing tight ends. Harrison Bryant was the last tight end, on the roster. It wasn't as bad as the score looks, but the defense saved it. That historic defense saved it. If it had not been for that defense, this game would have been a blowout. It would have been a blowout. So thank you, Will Anderson. Thank you, Daniil Hunter. Thank you, Derek Stingley. Thank you, Jalen Petrie. Thank you, Kamari Lassiter. Thank you, Kalen Bullock. But you guys will be even better next season. Even better. All right. Last topic of the day. The most interesting topic on my list. The Atlanta Falcons have hired a new head coach. Kevin Stefanski, Cleveland Browns head coach formerly, is now the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. And if we pull up the stats here on my screen, I have to show you exactly what he has done so far. 14 seasons on the Vikings staff, 6 seasons as the Cleveland Browns head coach. He's a 2-time NFL Coach of the Year. The overall record for him is 45-56. Yes, he signed a 5-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons. We do not have the numbers yet, but the reports indicate that Stefanski's deal will be over $15 million annually, making him one of the highest paid coaches in the league right now. As a Falcons fan, I'm actually intrigued by this hire. I want to see how far this goes. And the reason why I'm intrigued by it is because I don't believe we ever had a coach of the year come in this polished. I don't believe we ever had a 2-time NFL coach of the year, let alone a 1-time coach of the year, to already have won that award and then come in. I do believe that Dan Reeves, Mike Smith, and Dan Quinn got snubbed. I do think Dan Quinn won it one year, the year we went to the Super Bowl. But Dan Quinn was a young head coach. Second year, he was in the second year when he took us to the Super Bowl. But I will say this. We're going to ride for Kevin Stefanski. We're going to ride for him hard, because I want him to succeed as well as the Falcons. And I feel like this is the match made in heaven. A lot of people give Kevin Stefanski a lot of flack for not winning the big games or not developing players or kind of looking towards other elements of the game instead of looking towards the right element of the game. Kevin Stefanski, to me, has been one of the best coaches in the league with the pieces that he has been given in Cleveland. And yes, everybody has their flaws, but he has more rights than wrongs. And Kevin Stefanski is going to show why he deserves to be here. I can't wait. I do believe that we're going to make the playoffs. I do believe that the Falcons front office and the Falcons fans are going to be elated with this hire, especially during the season as they see the newly integrated offense around Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts. I do believe that Michael Penix is going to be more involved in this offense. I do believe that Michael Penix is going to have a significant role, not of a Shedeur Sanders arc in terms of the freelance style of play, but I do believe that when you look at Baker Mayfield, he coached Baker Mayfield. He coached a Deshaun Watson. I do believe that he's going to have more of a Baker Mayfield style offense, and that more fits the Atlanta Falcons. You look at what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have done with the Mike Evans, with their Chris Godwin. Their wide receivers are their number one targets. But we so happen to have a Bijan Robinson, the best player in the NFL, and I'm going to continue to say it, at running back. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Tyler Algier. Hopefully we bring him back. Kyle Pitts, a free agent as well. Oh, I'm really intrigued and excited to see what we're going to do in free agency. I really am. I really am. You cannot say that this team will not be in the playoffs, let alone the Super Bowl next year. I have that much faith in this new regime. And everything lines up for us to even be in the Super Bowl. It's the 10-year anniversary this time next year of us making the Super Bowl. It will be the 10-year anniversary. Don't you think on the 10-year anniversary, the Atlanta Falcons want to go back and win it? I think they do. I believe the Atlanta Falcons are going to shock a lot of people next year. And people look at the fan base and they look at the team and say, oh, you guys are basically the Jets. Oh, you guys don't have what it takes. You guys lose the close games. Arthur Blank needs to sell the team. You hear different ins and outs. You hear different rumors. You hear different reports, not knowing which one is more accurate. But hearing it from Falcons fans and the Falcons fans that I've been able to talk to and report about and write about what they have said, not only about the Matt Ryan hiring, but they have said whoever our coach is, we're going to look at it, we're going to dissect it, we're going to hope for a playoff berth, and we're going to go from there. So getting to the playoffs is number one for the Atlanta Falcons. Free agency before that. Freeing up money prior to that. Kirk Cousins restructuring his contract, that's great. Will he be back? I don't know. Him and Kevin Stefanski do have ties. They do have ties. Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan, and Kevin Stefanski all have ties to each other. With Kevin Stefanski growing up in Philadelphia, Matt Ryan is from Philadelphia, and Kirk Cousins was with Kevin Stefanski in Minnesota. So you can kind of connect the dots there. I don't think Kirk Cousins will start, though. I'm telling you, I don't believe he's going to start. We have invested too much into Michael Penix to say, Kurt, you can come in and start. No, this is not 2024 anymore. I do believe that they're investing heavily in Michael Penix to say, this is your team. Go out here and start, and we're going to give you the pieces on offense, specifically the offensive line, so you can scramble out of the pocket, or we can run the ball, or you will have time in the pocket to throw the ball. He's more of a pocket passer than a dual threat. More of a pocket passer than a dual threat. But my question for the day of this hire and this topic, was the Matt Ryan experience worth it? Or, this is the big or, was the Matt Ryan experience worth it? Or will the Falcons finally get over the hump? I'm going to break down this question to you. The first part of the question is the Matt Ryan experience. Well, the Matt Ryan experience from 2008 until 2022, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. The greatest Falcon, arguably, of all time to some people. What he did for the community, the city of Atlanta, where he took them from to where they were, and then to go through that hard time after Super Bowl 51. I commend Matt Ryan for. Most quarterbacks wouldn't be able to do that. Most quarterbacks would not have been able to take a loss like that, come back and still take us to the playoffs the year after, still fight for us, have us on the edge of making the playoffs, even though we kind of sold some games ourselves. But at the end of the day, the Atlanta Falcons have what I call an opportunity to strike back and win the Super Bowl. So, the answer to the question, Matt Ryan's experience was well worth it. And yes, the Falcons will win a Super Bowl under Kevin Stefanski. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. I truly believe that. You look at where he was in the AFC. The AFC is crowded. I was just talking to my peers and some of my family members about this the other day, about how the AFC is so crowded and how you have a Josh Allen, a Patrick Mahomes, a Joe Burrow, a Tua Tagovailoa, a Justin Herbert. It's already crowded there. A CJ Stroud, a Cam Ward coming up. It's Trevor Lawrence. It's crowded in the AFC. Versus if you come to the NFC, you have free reign. It's like the NBA with the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. The Western Conference is loaded. It's stacked. You barely can't even win in that conference. But if you come to the Eastern Conference, what some people may call the Leastern Conference, you have an opportunity to win. Look at it that way. But the Falcons have a great opportunity in front of them. And I hope this leads to a Super Bowl and quick. Final thoughts and show shout-outs. I want to give a shout-out to Scooby Magaza, ESPN college football analyst. Also want to give a shout-out to the College Football Show, Matt Sims and Sam, the crew. Also want to give a shout-out to Amina Smith for her prediction when I asked her about Indiana and Miami the other day. She said she has Miami, but she said she may switch. So stay tuned for that. But as always, I'm your guy, Tyler A. Gates. Thank you for watching Tag Loud 205 on Millions. Make sure to stay tuned for all other episodes. Like I said at the beginning, if you have not already subscribed to me, my talk show, and Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, you can follow me on all of those. And the talk show Instagram, Tag Loud 205, all lowercase, no punctuations. So for now, I'm out. And tonight's going to show who really wants it more.